and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terri Morrow. Say hi, Terri.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terri and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change.
Yay.
So this week we watched another episode of The West Wing season 5, and our challenge round was a movie that was very much about parenting.
Yes.
So that seems to happen to us a lot.
It does. It's almost like that's one of our interests.
Yeah. First, though, we caught up with another episode of So You Think You Can Dance. So, because of last week's fake out, we had to watch another week of them cutting people and auditioning people.
Yes.
So at the end of last week's episode, they had the top 20. Yay, everyone's happy. We're so excited. And then they're like, oh, by the way, half of you are actually getting cut. So that was fun. So then
more auditions and quickly learned routines and broken hearts and tears. Oh, boy. That's the part we like best. I had to laugh at the part of the show where I think it was Mary who said something like, this is what happens when they learn a routine in such a short period of time. I'm like, yes!
Yes, it is,
so
Mary.
why do you keep doing it?
Oh, brother. Yes. Yeah, and so they cut it. They focused only on the women, the girls today, or this time, and they cut it back from 10 to 5.
Yes.
And it was tough. I mean, it was hard because as you said, you can't keep track of them yet. Mm-hmm. It's hard to form a relationship with these people and like a rooting interest in this amount of time. And as what I was referring to, what you said was the show doesn't seem to care about that either.
Right.
About letting us know, helping us remember their names, or know who they are.
Particularly. Yeah, I think they don't really care until it gets to the live show. So this is all just kind of fodder. Because there were some people who were on it tonight that I don't think we saw their solos. I don't think we saw the tap dance girls solo that Nigel didn't like. I think there was stuff that never got shown, and then it's all of a sudden, oh, here she is. Care about this person.
Right, but only for this short amount of time, because then she's gone, actually. Spoiler.
Yeah, and, we've talked to her many, many, many times about my basic dislike of contemporary, and it seemed like there's a lot of contemporary, and it's this whole thing of learn in a short period of time a dance in a style you are not particularly familiar with. Which, now last week I mentioned that I thought the tap dancers had an advantage because in the big group number, there was only 2 of them. But I think they're at a disadvantage because of all the different styles, they have to dance everybody else's style. But do they make anybody else do tap? No.
You're right.
Nobody ever has to learn a tap routine. Could it be because that's a very specialized type of dance that will be hard to just learn in 30 minutes? Yes. So give them extra points for that. Say, you've been off learning this specialized kind of dance, so we accept that you cannot do 5 others in 5 minutes.
Right.
It just seems unfair. Like, how come?
And I also wonder, so they had these 10 women, and they each did a duet with an all-star person, an all-star guy. Mm-hmm. And how did they pick? Why did they decide that, Jensen, who's a ballroom dancer, was going to do jazz, allegedly. I don't know how they define jazz.
It looks kind of like contemporary to me. I saw no distinguishing features. Lots of, trauma and kicking.
Right. So how is it that they decide, okay, do they pick out of a hat? Like in past seasons, they have literally picked out of a hat on the stage at the end of the episode to show what they're going to dance the next time. So, but I don't know. Maybe tell us why they decided that. How they matched up each person with the style that they wanted to see them do, Hey,
yes, because otherwise
if you're going to make us watch the process, then show us the process.
It also makes it seem kind of, rigged. But, and how do they decide what they're going to wear when they do the dance? The one girl had a nice dress for a ballroom dance. Unfortunately, she didn't dance it very well. But
and then the other one had basically underwear for a ball dance.
Well, but in her practice, she had this really as I recall, kind of a pretty outfit on. And I thought, oh, they're going to get costumes to do these dances. And then she's in her contemporary underwear. Mm-hmm. Why?
Right. Don't know. Don't get it.
It's so confusing. And the one, there's all the tension of who is going to be in the final 5, who's going to get it, who's going to get their heartbrokens. But I think for me, it was, even more so the tension of, is Vanessa going to fall out of her dress? Because, oh my goodness, honey, put those away. She was like, at one point, somebody was doing some sort of dance and Nigel was shaking and saying, Vanessa, shake with us. And I'm going, she can't.
It's not a good idea, Nigel.
She's pinned together with double-sided tape and prayer. She's not going to move at all. But she made it through.
Yes, I also was distracted by her lipstick.
Yeah, she had quite the look this time. And she cried over the 22nd contemporary, so,
And then did that girl
Yes,
get it?
She did.
Okay.
I think I think so. Again, there was so many contemporaries that were so similar.
Yeah.
I think the one that everybody was... No, maybe that wasn't the one they were crying over.
I think it was one of the other ballroom girls. The one
who didn't get in. No, I don't think
No, the one who did, Magdalene.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. She was the first one, I think.
And she had like a button-down shirt on.
Yes.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. You can't tell these people apart.
Right.
And so we have one rooting interest that did get in, which is Jensen, because she's Lindsay's sister. And then we both determined that we liked one of the girls who got cut. And that's bad. Emily, who had this huge, beautiful smile. And she danced hip-hop. And
was she the one who they said
too smiley?
Yeah, I liked her. I thought she did good.
Me too.
I thought she did possibly better than the other one.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was difficult to compare all the different styles of dancing you were giving people who don't normally dance that style of dance. Right. And is it possibly easier for a contemporary dancer to do ballroom than for some of these other... I don't know. It just seems unfair. And I didn't think... I didn't think many of the people doing ballroom did all that well. Except for Salsa Girl who got in. So maybe they actually felt that way also.
She was the last one, right? That they showed? No,
I think she was the first.
Oh, but she was like the last one to get in. Into the top 5.
No, I don't think so. No, it was. I think she was the first one to get in the top 5.
This is the problem. Oh, yeah, she was. That was Hannah.
Yeah.
In her undies. Yep. I'm looking at the pictures.
Yes, she salsaed in her undies, even though she practiced in, I'm pretty sure she had a skirt or something. She had something red on when she was practicing, and then she went back to her underwear. Apparently there's a rule. You have to dance. If you're a contemporary dancer, you have to dance in your underwear. And if you are dancing contemporary, you have to dance in your underwear. So, I don't know. It makes me feel very, very old. But there was a lot of them I didn't like. The stuff I liked, the judges didn't like, and vice versa. So clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's fine.
Yeah, but you know what you like, and you are entitled to like what you like.
And I hated the way the whole way they did the final elimination. Really, the merciful thing is read off the 5 names and thank everybody very much. Instead of calling each one forward. Are you going to get it? Are you not? And a couple of times they said things like,
they did the fake out.
Unfortunately, but you're in. Come on, that seems not nice. I'm just going to tell myself that they told them ahead of time who it was going to be and just said, look upset when we talk to you. Because it's so mean. This whole thing is brutal. I don't know.
It's too much for us.
It is.
Our motherly hearts to take.
It is. Yes. We're delicate flowers.
Yes, but we're coming back for more. We're coming back for more next week.
Well, yeah. Let's see them beat up on the guys just the same way. There's one tapper standing. I think there was a tapping guy, so he's got to be feeling pretty good about his odds. So,
well, we'll find out.
Unless he has to dance, ballet or something. There's nobody dancing ballet this year, is there? Oh. They've had ballet dancers in the past.
They have. Mm-hmm. They have in the past.
Too much contemporary. Let's diversify, shall we?
Please. All right. So we'll come back next week and see more. And for now,
yes, we will. More hearts to be broken.
That's right.
That's entertainment.
All right. So from the dance floor, we head to the West Wing. Our episode this week was Separation of Powers from the 5th season. And I can see why, Terri, you're excited for the one after this called Shutdown, because the very last moment of this one was, very exciting and made you say, like, yes, finally.
Finally. Bartlet's coming back.
Bartlet's coming
getting
back.
Feisty.
Let Bartlet be Bartlet, please.
Shut it down. Clunk, clunk.
Just when he said, no.
Yes. Yay! The mojo is coming back. It's not entirely back yet, but it's coming. Next week.
So we had to get through, a lot of other stuff on this episode and all the previous ones, but still, it was a nice moment to get there in this final scene of
that
this
was very satisfying.
Episode. Yeah.
So
very satisfying, and also as it did talk about on the podcast, which we'll get to in a minute on the West Week Weekly, but. Donna, had previously asked for more responsibility, and here she gets it, and she gets to work with Angela Blake on the negotiations that they're having with Congress. And she's respected, and she's working hard, and it's nice to see.
Yeah. It's possible the Angela Blake character is now a little bit ruined for me, that I've heard what a goofball the actress who plays her is.
I know. Yes, on the podcast, she was very funny because she clearly had not watched the episode that they were discussing. No. So she was going everything off of her memory from, 15 years ago. Yeah. And it was hilarious. Like, really she did all the actors and writers and directors that they're talking about. She's like, no, the blonde one. Like, she did not know who they were talking about.
Would not know Aaron Sorkin if he was in the same room as her, despite the fact that she's been on 2 of his shows.
Right.
Plus, when she has a British accent. So
yes, that was surprising. Did not expect that.
Yeah. So it was very, very fun listening to her on the podcast, but now it's going to be hard to get that out of my brain when I'm watching her be all business as Angela. Right. So.
Right, because it is fun, her character, Angela, how she just, like, takes no prisoners, kind of, even though she sort of failed in this this piece of the negotiation. Or she got basically, it wasn't her fault that
you know who's going to have to save. You know who's going to have to save the day.
I know.
You know he's going to have to come riding up on a white horse. Come on, we got to get Josh back in the game.
Do you mean Sam Seaborn? Okay, just kidding.
Oh dear. Well,
supposedly he's still in the building somewhere.
Yeah, that's
Sam.
right. Yeah, they were going to kick him upstairs, right? He's somewhere in the Mandy department.
Right. He's sitting right next to Mandy. Clearly.
Yeah, adjoining desks. And Ainsley never officially left, right? She's there someplace. Apparently she moved out of the Steam Pike trunk distribution venue.
Well, she got replaced by Joe.
Right. So she got a nice corner office someplace.
Yeah. Like the one Angela Blake
That's right.
She left behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got Joe Quincy with Matthew Perry in this episode.
Which it's like, nice to see you again, but that it's I mean, did they just want to
blame him for the whole debacle? Because
but also it's like, that could have been, well, I guess it had to be somebody we had seen before. But the whole plot was a little like, gee, we'd like to have Matthew Perry back. What could we have him doing? Oh, okay, right. How about this?
Right, here's an idea.
He was fine. He was very good. He did his job very well, but it was kind of a dragged out thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, they said that on the podcast, and I would agree that Toby's big speech about the justice was delayed.
Yeah, I mean, Joe says he's not going to do it, and then he comes back and says he does it. He'll do it, and then he does it, and then he says the guy was fine, and then he comes back and says no, the guy wasn't fine. It's just like there's all these scenes. Come on, man, do it or don't do it.
Right.
It's difficult. It's a difficult situation, though. I think it was well illustrated, because you don't, on the one hand, you don't want him getting forced out. On the other hand, you don't want him staying past the point where he can acquit himself honorably. So, well, maybe that's okay. I like seeing Matthew Perry, so that's cool.
Yeah. Clap, clap, clap.
There's so much misery in other halls of the West Wing that it's nice to just kind of be around new people for a while.
Right.
Oh, well. And Zoe seems to be doing well.
Yeah. I also agreed with the podcast, the questioning of why was this a plot point? I mean, just to emphasize the continued gulf between Abby and Jed.
That was the reason.
Yeah. And possibly for the whole thing where Zoe was saying, people need to know about this so that they know that they can get help if it happens to you or whatever. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree that it was kind of weird that the questions about which they were so concerned is the point at which they walked away, that CJ walked away. But I think what it was supposed to be Abby got emotional, and so she left, and then CJ went after her. But still, Zoe, we're going to coach you, and then you're on your own, sweetie. We're leaving the room. It's like when
Here's your one-liner. Great. Okay, you're good.
It's like when I coach my kids to take a difficult phone call, and then I have to flee and go someplace and cover my ears and not listen to how they're saying it. So perhaps that was what Abby was doing. Right. I'll watch it later on TV. I just can't listen. Tell me if it goes okay. Right. So this is the line about the helped is one that I remembered. And I think earlier when she was at the White House right after the kidnapping, I was wondering, is this the episode where she says that? And then I saw another episode on the lineup that's 2 or 3 down, and I thought, oh no, that's the one where. But no, it was this one. So it was coming somewhere along the line.
Right.
But
there it was.
She was quite self-possessed and, handling questions like a pro.
Yes, exactly.
We interrupt this podcast to remind you to please consider the free Radio Public app for all your Parenting Roundabout listening needs. If you listen to our podcast on the app, we'll get paid a little for each listen and more if you listen a lot.
It's a great way to financially support our podcast without having to actually spend, money. Now on to our challenge round.
Well, maybe that's a good transition to our challenge round because we also it was a very mother-daughter moment, and this was a very mother-daughter movie that we watched. Lady Bird, which came out last year and was a big Oscar contender that didn't actually get much.
Which I kind of see why. It's the kind of movie you admire without really feeling like it's the best. But you want to cheer it on. You go, woman director. You go, female actresses doing a great job. Yeah, give that a nomination. But then when it comes to vote for something, it's like there's much more. I mean, I didn't see any of the other films that were up for anything, so I don't know. It may well have been the best, but it's okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was just a very compelling portrait of a particular time and a place and a person occupying that time. This high school senior, itching to get out of her town, and just kind of it just painted a picture for me.
Yeah, it did that. Not so much in the way of plot. It was just sort of her senior year, and then she goes to school in New York. Yeah, basically, on one level, has pretty much the same plot as My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
Yeah, true.
The sort of oddball girl making her way through, and then she gets to go to college in New York. Yay! Which, and then she gets mugged the next day and they find her in an alley. But that's okay. She made it out of her stultifying town and away from her difficult family. You go, girl.
And the performances were knockout, I thought. I mean,
yeah,
they definitely rose above my favorite. I liked Greek Wedding too.
Yes. Yes, it was the performance of the daughter was more than she's wearing black eyeliner, she's not wearing black eyeliner. So right. Yeah, it was much more nice. Yeah, they're all great performers. I since I'm more on the mom side of the equation now, I really felt for Laurie Metcalf's character and really enjoyed her performance. And I think she got all of the contrasts of, wanting things for your kid and being mad when they don't do what you figure is the best thing for them. And then at the same time, the whole things where they're arguing and then they find a dress. Oh, that's really cute. And then they go back to it. It's like, basically
very, very.
Yes, we've all been there. Relatable. Basically, they have a good relationship, but it's just so hard when you see what the right thing is for your kid and you want to do that and they want to do other things and have a life. Go figure. And I thought that the father was also just a very lovely, understated performance. And, certainly an archetype we've seen in movies many, many, many times. The difficult mother-daughter relationship and the dad who just kind of quietly supports. But this was a good version of it. Tracy Letts played the dad. He's a playwright. And I've heard his name for a long time. Don't know if I've ever actually seen the man. Now I have.
Now you have. And now you know.
Yes.
Yes, so, I was flipping through Instagram the other day, and there's a movie-related podcast that follows us on our podcast account, and they had a question, that said, aliens have arrived, and you're in battle with the people with whoever the characters from the last movie you watched. Oh. And I was like, Lady Bird, I'm pretty sure that Lady Bird's mom could kick some butt if there was a confrontation with aliens. And I'm feeling good.
And Lady Bird could snark them excellently.
That's right. So we're fine.
And meanwhile, Dad would be in the back programming something on a computer. So his whole job situation was kind of heartbreaking, but. And even so, he's sneaking behind his wife's back to arrange for financial aid. So, very sweet. I felt like it was maybe kind of less than the sum of its parts. I'm a pretty big sucker for teen girl coming of age movies. Generally, I like them not very good. So, we've watched What a Girl Wants, which I love and can watch over and over again. We watched How to Deal, which I've watched any number of times. This is a better, quote, film, unquote, than them. Right. It's much more arty and it's much, it has greater aspirations, but I'm not sure I enjoyed it as much. And Juno is another one that was like an Oscar-nominated movie but there was just something about it that was a little kookier, I guess. I don't know. This was just pretty straightforward. And you sort of either liked the girl at the center of it or didn't. And I was sort of, I didn't feel that strongly about her one way or the other. Except that being glad it wasn't my kid. I didn't have to deal with her.
Yes.
But one thing I did have a problem with, and I think this may have affected my enjoyment and appreciation of it, is that it is not a movie you can... I have this computer screen set up in my living room that I can sit on the couch and I can watch Amazon Prime on this computer screen. But you have to to be able to hear it, you have to turn the sound way, way up. which I had, kids in bed and stuff. So I couldn't do that. So I missed a lot of the kind of throwaway lines. There was a fair amount of mumbling and amount of, sort of low asides or whatever. So then I put it on a computer screen, which I had right next to me, and I still was missing things. So finally I came in my room, I set up on the desk, I put my headphones in, and then for the rest of the movie, I pretty much could hear everything. So it's not a good multitasking movie unless I guess you have headphones in, because you're going to miss stuff. So there might have been stuff early on that I didn't catch that would have made me enjoy it more. So that's movies that you have to pay that much attention to probably are not that good for me. Maybe I needed closed captions on, but I'm always doing something. So I had to set it up so it was right in front of my other screen so that I could watch it while I did stuff, and I had my headphones in so I could hear it. That's a lot of work, but still, it was fine.
It was well done. Definitely.
It was well done, yes. Did you feel like every now and then, and is it just because I know that actress named
Saoirse Ronan
is Irish, that I felt like I heard a little bit of an Irish accent on some of her lines?
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
Felt like there was a little curl on some of them. But it could just be psychological on my part. Just knowing that. I have been to Sacramento, California. I have not spent enough time there to know how people talk. Perhaps there's a large Irish population there and everybody just talks slightly tinged with I don't know. I took a houseboat at Sacramento once. We got boarded by a snake. It was very exciting. One vacation, my family and I went to Sacramento and we were on a houseboat. We rented a houseboat. Because my dad and my brother-in-law at the time felt like they knew how to do that, which they didn't. So we had all sorts of excitement. A large snake flopped onto our deck. And
oh, gosh.
They were going to fish, and there was a problem with fishing. But that's my knowledge of Sacramento, pretty much. But apparently it's not a place you want to stay.
My family lived in Davis for a while, so.
Oh, okay.
The home of the... It's half an hour away, less if you drive fast. So, and she's right. I don't think that she would.
You don't see her fitting in there?
No. I mean, it's a smaller town. Like Sacramento at least is a city, I mean, Davis is a small college town.
Right.
So she would be getting like the worst of both worlds. Like she's barely leaving home, but she actually went to someplace smaller.
Yeah.
So, although college towns have their own sort of appeal. But.
Yeah. It would be interesting to just kind of know, like get a, it would be a movie version of it. But, she's a weird fish in a small pond, so she can have all her little mannerisms and all her little stuff, and it's kind of special and different. But she's going someplace where everybody's going to be like that.
Right.
And, I don't know. I don't know what happens. So I felt the same way about the Big Fat Greek Wedding Girl, is like, you're going to find out pretty quickly that this is maybe not as good an idea as it seemed to be. But maybe. Who knows? They may go on to become interesting people. But I don't know. I'm on the parent knowing how expensive college is and on end of this now, so it's a lot less romantic to me to say, yes, why don't you go to the other side of the country and be where I can't help you and go to an expensive school that's going to make us have to refinance our house. Sure, go ahead. Have fun. I'm like, you get your butt to community college, and then we'll talk. Or like my parents did. They drew a circle on the map and said, these are the parameters. Any school within this range.
Right.
You go crazy,
Knock yourself out. Well, I'm glad we watched Lady Bird.
I'm glad to be able to say I saw it.
That's right. You have seen it now.
Yes.
So, and you have a challenge for me that is also a mother-daughter situation.
Yes. We are staying on the tortured mother-daughter relationships cycle here, and we're going to watch an episode of My So-Called Life, which was a series that was on 1994-95, one glorious season, starring a very young Claire Danes, just full of beautiful, baleful looks. And it's the mother-daughter relationship there is difficult in a way that I think pretty much every mother can relate to, who also is a daughter and wants to think that one has a certain degree of coolness. And yet when it's your kid, you find yourself doing things that you really had not planned to do. So the episode we're going to watch is called Other People's Mothers, and it is available on Amazon and YouTube in what looks to me to be a really crummy print. I think they bought somebody's video off of their TV, but that seems to be what is available for this. And so I think that you can still
Would it be on the ABC app?
I think it might be. You might check.
Okay.
It was, I thought, and then for some reason there seemed something wrong with it, but you might check there. You might check. Maybe you can see it for free on the ABC app with 1 million commercials. It's available on Amazon and iTunes for 99 cents. So if avoiding the commercials is worth 99 cents, that might be a thing to do. You can also, Catherine, you might want to do this if any of our listeners do also. This episode was inducted into the Extra Hot Great canon. So you can go onto their website for the Extra Hot Great podcast and listen to their episode where they talked about it and what they had to say about it. So I'll be interested to hear. You haven't watched any My So-Called Life, so I'll be interested to hear what you think of it. This seems like a good one for us to discuss and, cringe over and feel extremely bad for Patty Chase. Poor dear.
It's definitely one of those shows that I'm like, oh, I've never seen that, and I should have, and
That's one of the shows. That's one of those shows that if you're a completist, you could quite easily watch the whole thing.
That is true.
So it's just one season. It's on. I think it is on the ABC app, so you can cut through that pretty quick. But we're watching like a mid-season episode. So does that ruin it for you, or do you have to go watch all the ones before it?
It's fine. I can handle it.
You can do this. I know you can.
Good. So we will watch that for next week, and also the West Wing's Shutdown episode that Terry's been looking forward to. And also So You Think You Can Dance. And that's going to be it for our Round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.